What's going on, you guys? Chris Primetime Colbert. After his controversial victory over El Rayo, Chris Primetime Colbert said he's not giving him a rematch and he is going back to 130 pounds. Hit that like button for your boy. We on Bushido Boxing TV. This is where we're going to be. But Chris Primetime, he's back, right? He's back, and he's back on a winning column. He's now 17-1. And, yeah, Chris Primetime, he had a controversial win over El Rayo. Now, some fans may believe that the right man won the fight. So, and some other fans believe that the decision isn't as controversial as many people is making it out to be. But El Rayo, of course, feels that he won the fight. Me personally, watching it live, I felt that El Rayo was going to get the decision, not only because he dropped him, but just because he landed the more the harder shots. Right when he landed those shots, Chris kind of reacted to it, and it was, you know, pretty significant, right? But if you look at it from another light, Chris Primetime Colbert got up off the canvas and jabbed and boxed his way to a unanimous decision, right? Or should I say controversial decision. But Chris Primetime Colbert says he's not giving him a rematch.
If it was presented to you, would you give him a rematch?
Fuck no. He was being a sore loser. He should have never been a sore loser. If he would have took the loss like a man, I would have gave him a rematch. Like I took my loss like a man when I lost, I'd have gave him a rematch. But he was being a sore loser, so now he ain't getting nothing.
And he says he's going back down to 130, right, to get his fight with Hector Luis Garcia. He wants that fight. If he can't get Hector, then he's going to move on to whoever Al Heyman puts him in there with.
And 35 was just like, it was just to come back just to prove something, but I'm going back down to my weight class.
Christopher Primetime Colbert, at one point, he was the guy that was mentioned amongst the guys like Shakur Stevenson and everybody like that, right? One of the next up-and-coming smaller weight guys at super featherweight / lightweight. He was one of the guys that was bunched with those dudes. Now he finds himself at a different point of his career. And yeah, he just put up a gutsy performance against a bigger guy in El Rayo, right? He said, people don't respect me. You know, I came off a 13-month layoff, fought a much bigger guy in a higher weight class, and I got the job done. And people still don't want to respect me. And that just comes with the territory, right? Me personally, I think Chris Colbert, even though I felt El Rayo won the fight, I think Chris Colbert made a really good account of himself. He redeemed himself from that stain of a fight against Hector Luis Garcia. I mean, he just mentally checked out of the fight. He essentially was a no mas 2022. And yeah, we didn't know what Chris Colbert was going to do, right? But he showed up and showed out against a bigger guy coming off a layoff. He has something to prove, and I think he proved it. I'll bet a controversial decision, but I do believe that Christopher Primetime Colbert should give El Rayo a rematch, right?
How convinced are you that you won this fight? And why not a rematch?
I'm very convinced, and I said it. The only reason why he ain't getting no rematch is because he was being a sore loser. In this sport, it's either you're going to win, you're going to lose, or you're going to get a draw. And you got to take that like a man. You got to take your loss like a man the way you take your wins. You see the way I did my last fight? I took that on the chin. There was nothing I could do. I could have went up there and cried, and made excuses. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I was sick. I was this. I didn't make no excuses. I take my loss on the chin like a man.
Maybe he will. Maybe he's just saying that as of right now. But, you know, Christopher Colbert does seem like a guy that'll stand on his square. So, yeah, unless the pressure from fans will urge him to rematch El Rayo, Christopher Colbert seems hell-bent on going back down to 130 where he really belongs and getting his belt back from Hector Luis Garcia. But, yeah, I think he needs to give him a rematch. I think it's only right to clear up the controversy. Maybe Chris Colbert said, look, man, I stole that when I'm out of here, bro. And just because you was a sore loser about it, you couldn't take your L like a man, now I'm going to use that against you to not fight you again. So, yeah, that's kind of how boxing goes, right? We know El Rayo is a tough fight. Maybe Christopher Colbert will put up a much better performance in a rematch, right? I mean, in certain points of the fight, towards the end of the fight anyway, he used his legs, you know, and he gave El Rayo a lot of trouble, right? He was giving El Rayo a lot of trouble when he started using his legs. So if Christopher Colbert can use his legs from rounds 1 through 10 or rounds 1 through 12, he'll give a lot of guys problems. But he seemed like he had something to prove, and I think he proved it in his fight with El Rayo, the bigger guy puncher. He proved it. He got up off the canvas, and he was going through the fire. He found a way to get the victory. Whether you believe it's controversial, whether you believe it was just, Christopher Colbert's back in the winning column. What's next for El Rayo? Well, if I was El Rayo, I'll still try to get that rematch with Christopher Colbert, but it's not looking like that's going to happen. Christopher Colbert probably is likely going to squeeze back down to 130 where he belongs and campaign there. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Should Christopher Colbert give the quote-unquote sore loser El Rayo a rematch? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.